Today's topic is poetic devices. And poetic devices are the devices, are literary devices, which are used by the writer, by the poet, to enhance the beauty of the words which they are using in their writing piece. It adds to beauty of that writing piece. Literature becomes beautiful if there is use of poetic devices. So we must know what are they. So we'll start with the first one. First one is simile. You all are aware of it and you have already studied about it. So let's talk about it again. This is a comparison between two things using as or like. Means when you talk about, as you can see in the picture, there are two drawings, like one is of a girl and one is of son. So let's talk about their characteristics, points which they have. So a girl has blue eyes, then that means the color of eyes is mentioned, then color of hair, and then smile. What kind of smile she has? Bright smile. Then let's talk about the characteristics of sun. Sun is round shape, yellow color, bright, that adds as an adjective to it. So what is common between the characteristics of girl and sun? Yes, common thing is brightness. Smile is bright, sun is bright. So when we are comparing two things, then if we use as or like, then it is simile. As you can see in the example, her smile is as bright as the sun. So this becomes simile because there is use of as and two things are compared. Then second sentence, her smile is bright like the sun. So as and like both are used in, as is used in first sentence, like is used in second sentence. Comparing two things with the use of either as or like. This is called simile. Then comes metaphor. Metaphor compares, as we compare two things in simile. So in the same way, we compare two things in metaphor also. But what is the difference? We don't use as or like. What do we do then? We treat one thing like the other one. As you can see, metaphor compares two things by saying that one is something else. We directly say that this is that thing without making comparison with the help of as or like. And most of the times we use is, are, was, were to use a metaphor in the sentence. So most of the times these four words are used, helping verbs. As you can see in example, my life is a movie. This is metaphor. Actually, it's not a movie, but the person is telling that my life is a movie. But if that person says, my life is like a movie, then it will become simile. But now one thing is projected on other. So this is the reason this is called metaphor over here. So in other example, they are clowns in math class. There are no clowns in the math class. But why it is said like this? Just to make comparison of the children with clowns. But in this sentence, if there would have been, they are like clowns in math class, then it would have been simile. But now they are considered to be clowns. So now this is metaphor. Now, this is how we differentiate between simile and a metaphor. Next one is metaphor. Metaphor we have done, like simile and metaphor both are used for comparison, but that is used with as and like. Metaphor is used without it. Now next one, there are few examples of similes and metaphors. Simile says her heart is like gold, but metaphor says her heart is gold. Simile says the world is like a stage, but metaphor says the world is a stage. As you can see, is, am, are frequently used in metaphors. He eats like a pig, simile. He is a pig. That is metaphor. You are like a rock means simile, and you are a rock, metaphor. In the same way, other examples go. Your eyes are like sunshine, you are my sunshine, poor as dirt, sea of sand. So these are the uses of, so few uses of similes and metaphors. Then comes personification. If you treat something non-living as a living thing, then it means you are using personification. The traits, the qualities which a person can have or a human being can have, and you are giving the same qualities, same things to the non-living thing. It means you are personifying something using personification. As you can see in the example, the tree leaves were dancing with the wind. Now, who can dance? Human beings. Means now, and can leaves dance? No. But you are saying leaves are dancing. Then it means you are treating leaves, you are considering that leaves are people, they are persons. So you are doing personification over here, right? So similarly, metaphor, personification. You are the apple of my eye. Directly saying something to somebody. Metaphor. The rain kissed my cheeks. Rain is treated as a person, living being. Then it becomes personification. His temper was explosive as a volcano. Comparison is there by using the word as. So this is simile. Now let's talk about hyperbole. Hyperbole is when you exaggerate the things. When you are not saying a simple thing in simple way. You are trying to make it more high by using other words, like you are not telling the simple thing in simple way. To put the emphasis, to prove the thing which you are saying, you use exaggeration. So as it is quite clear from the example, I could sleep for a year. No one can sleep for whole year altogether. So this is hyperbole, means which can't be believed, which is not realistic thing. This book weighs a ton. It can't weigh a ton. So this is again an example of hyperbole, because it's not possible. It's not realistic thing. Hyperbole is exaggerating the things when you say something which is not even possible. Then comes alliteration. Alliteration is, of course, repeating of first letter of the words which are close to each other. The effect created when words with the same initial letter are used in closeness, close proximity. As you can see in example, to laugh and love. As you can see, laugh starts with L, love starts with L. So this is alliteration. In other words, you can see watch with wonder, W, W, and W. Then this is alliteration. Next sentence, and sales of silk, S, sales, S, silk, as soft as milk, again S. This is alliteration. Then silver is also S, or alliteration. Ab next pe aa jao. Now this is shrouds and she. Now remember that we are talking about sounds. Shrouds, sh, she, sh. Again, this is second example of alliteration in the same sentence. So this is how you treat alliteration. First letter, which is usually consonant, is repeated. Next is oxymoron. It will be clear through the examples only. I'll just read the examples and everything will be clear to you. An oxymoron is when two words with opposite meanings are placed next to each other for effect. Now, as you can see in example, that two words I have used in each one, and they are totally opposite to each other. They can't be possible together, but they are used still. So this is called oxymoron. So let me read examples for the more explanation. Seriously funny. Now you can say serious is something opposite to funny, but these two words are used together and they are good to be used together when they give relevant meaning. seriously, funny, pretty ugly. How can pretty be ugly but together used? Act naturally. Now, act is something which you pretend, which you do intentionally. And naturally is something which goes in flow. But totally opposite words are used together. Found, missing. Organized, mess. Open, secret. How can a secret be open also? Only choice. Now, only, again, we are limited that you have this choice only. But choice means something, we do have variety of choices. Living dead, as it's clear from example, there is use of oxymoron. Working, holiday. How can a holiday be working? But they are used together. Original, copies. Copies, imitation. Original is something which is genuine one. Still they are used together. So this is oxymoron. Onomatopoeia, very easy one. Just the sound words. The words which don't have any particular meaning in the dictionary, but they are sounds of dropping something, of anything. So these are just sounds. They are examples of onomatopoeia. Poets use this language. Now, why do the poets use it more? Because in literature, when they write poetry, when they write a thing of, poem, then it has to be used there so many times because they want to create a scene in front of you. When a person reads the poem, that the picture must be there, alive in their minds. So onomatopoeia is the use of words that sound like the noises, only sounds they describe. For example, crash, bang, buzz. So these all don't have any particular meaning in dictionary, but they all are spelled because they want, in this way, sound can be described. So this is how we use oxymoron and onomatopoeia. So here we go. Onomatopoeia is done. Apostrophe, as I was telling you when I was giving you example of personification. This is not the punctuation mark which is there in the grammar. Apostrophe is a separate poetic device. Apostrophe describes the literary device in which the poet addresses an idea, something non-human, or a non-present person. Means talking to that particular thing which is not alive, which may not be present there, right? Death, be not proud. Now, John Donne, who is a poet, is talking to death, right? So this is apostrophe. Bright star, would I were steadfast as thou art. John Keats is talking to bright star, apostrophe. Thou wast not born for death, immortal bird. Immortal bird is the person, is the thing to whom John Keats is talking, which is not even present there. So this is the example of apostrophe. Irony. Irony is a contradictory thing, contradiction between what happens and what you expect to happen. Means actually what you feel like that this will happen, but the result is something else. Then there is irony. Examples can clear this concept very well. A fireman is afraid of fire. Now, you expect that a fireman can never be afraid of fire because he has to deal with it, he has to put it out. But if a fireman is afraid of fire, that is the case of irony. A dentist has crooked teeth and cavities galore. A dentist, he must be having nice teeth, but if it has crooked teeth and there are cavities in that, it means this is the case of, again, irony. You shout, I'm not upset, but your fists are clenched, your eyes look like they are ready to pop out, and your face is the color of tomato red. Now, if this somebody is saying, I'm not angry at all, I'm cool, but he has clenched his fists and his eyes are fiery as if he is ready to fight, and his face has turned red, then how can I believe that that person is not angry? So this is again the case of irony. So this is how we can understand all the poetic devices.